simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional. Yeah. Unprofessional.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I'm your host, Webby. Joining me tonight, we got Devin.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Devin.
And we got Rob.
Hey, everybody.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Okay.
Rob, how are you feeling after that movie, Rob?
Okay.
All right. We'll see as we talk about it. This week on SU, we're going to be talking about two, I guess they're classified as horror thrillers, right? Am I correct on that? Akin to the same type of genre as last week's movie, I feel. But we're talking about The Strangers and The Strangers Pray at Night, which is the sequel.
Yes. You see, The Strangers is a horror mystery thriller, and The Strangers Pray at Night is just straight horror. But I would still say it's horror thriller, according to IMDb.
Yeah. I will say there was only really one part that really got me out of both movies. But we'll get into it. So essentially, The Strangers is... Now, what year did the first one come out?
2008.
2008. And then this one was 2018, I believe, the second one?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when did Hush? Because I referenced when I talked to you during...
Hush came out in 2018 as well.
Okay.
I'm not mistaken. Or 2016.
Now, after we watched The Strangers last night,
yeah.
We watched the first one last night. I know myself coming out of the movie, not liking it. I didn't hate it, but it did not keep my attention. It was lackluster to me. It was predictable, and it definitely was not scary. The scariest part was the end of the movie. Also, spoilers for people who haven't seen The Strangers yet. Go watch The Strangers on Netflix and The Strangers Pray at Night on Netflix, and then come back and listen to the episode. But the scariest part was at the end of the first one was Liv Tyler screaming at the two kids, or at the one kid who found her. That was a little bit of a jump scare for me. I didn't really know much going into this movie other than it was kind of a home invasion movie. Much like Hush, I suppose. But like I said last night, as far as the first movie goes, I definitely prefer Hush more. And like you said, this came out fucking
8 years prior.
8 years prior. So, I mean, Hush had a little bit of time to refine what people did and didn't like about.
And I mean, Hush also has a better director than the first one does. Than the first one, I think even the second one too. I mean, Hush is directed by the guy who did The Haunting of Hill House. I mean, him and his wife, they do everything together. So.
Never saw it. Never saw that movie.
It's a Netflix series.
Oh, never saw
series.
it.
Very good horror series.
Rob, what were your thoughts on the first movie? We know your general thoughts. I mean, you mentioned them last week, how these aren't necessarily your types of horror movies. You don't consider them horror, mainly because, like, your view on horror are things that are more supernatural than normal.
Yeah.
But going into this, not thinking of it as a horror movie, what was your overall opinion of the first movie? Very just middle of the road, just nah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. These aren't really my cup of tea. I don't really like these kind of movies. So,
right.
I mean, It was okay. The first one, I will say I did like the second one better, mostly because of the ending.
Same.
Ending-ish, like from
Yeah.
the middle to the end. But I don't know. I found the first one boring, and then like the killers did things for no reason, like other than for audience. Like I told you, like when they're following people around,
And then
like they're gonna kill them, and then they're just the person turns around, they're just not there. It's like, what was that? How was that affecting anything? That is just for audience participation. Like, oh my god, they're reaching up, and then they're just gone. It's like, why? Why would you do that as a freaking serial killer, like or slasher? Like you just, oh, I'm right here behind you, but then I'm just gonna leave for no reason. Okay. Like in other things, usually like when that's happened before, it's like it's a noise or something that draws the killer away, or something like that. That's why they're not there anymore, or they're going to do something else. Like this was just like, oh, I'm following you with my axe raised. I'm going to kill you, but then as soon as you turn around, I'm just gone. It's like, why? I don't know. There's a lot of nonsensical things that happened in both movies. Like they stretched the reasonable person kind of thing, where like when their friend shows up and they shoot out the car window. If I pulled up to somebody's house and someone shot out my freaking windshield, I would drive away and call the cops. I would not get out unarmed to investigate and be like, "Oh, someone just shot at my car. Let me go see what I can do about this without having any weapons on me."
Yeah.
Okay, I don't.
Well, I do think in the first movie, are you talking? Yeah, you're talking about when the friend pulls up to the house is on the phone or whatever.
Yeah,
I think it was. I mean, it's same exact thing that you're saying, but I don't think it was shot out. I think it was like a giant rock or something because they didn't have a gun at that time. The guy in the house still had the gun.
Mm.
So, but I mean, same concept. Yeah, if you're parked anywhere outside of anywhere and like something smashes your window, I'm putting it in drive and I'm fucking driving away. And I'm doing exactly that. I'm calling the cops. I'm going to say where I was, what happened, and that they need to investigate. So, and hopefully they send somebody better than Deputy Doolittle from the second movie.
Yeah, like especially too, like even if you got out of the car against all reason and went the house, their car is smashed up, their front door is wide open, I'd be like, okay, now I'm turning around and leaving.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna go into the house and be like, huh, I wonder if the murderer is still in there. I should go see. With me in my wedding attire, and that's it.
Yep. Yep. Now, I guess I'll save that question for when we start talking about the second one. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget, because I have a very bad memory. Devin, what was I know you had seen these movies prior, and that you were just rewatching them for us and with us. What was your original thoughts watching this movie? Like,
I mean, I saw The Stranger when it first came out back in 2008. We were talking about. I mean, I enjoyed it then. I enjoyed it then. I enjoyed it like a lot when I first saw it. I definitely enjoyed it. I watched it again like a year or two later, and I enjoyed it a little bit more. And then, yeah, I mean, it's kind of my consensus in the movie is kind of what this movie has kind of become in general. The first Strangers and the whole series has kind of become like cult hits.
Yeah, I can see that. And I mean, other movies, I do feel like other movies probably have stemmed off of these. Now, I'm trying to think. Do you think the first Strangers movie, the whole home invasion kind of thing, stemmed from a different movie? Like, was there another movie before it that had a similar premise that it maybe stemmed from? Also, at the beginning of the movies, I know you said that they're based off of, well, it says they're based off of actual events, but you said that they're more, what's the word? Inspired by actual events. Do we actually know, like, the actual story that these are inspired by? Like,
yes, we do. Two famous killings. The first Strangers is inspired by, the Keedy cabin murders, and the Manson family tape murders.
Okay.
Well, no, sorry. the Manson family tape merged in a series of break-ins that occurred in the director's neighborhood when he was a child. That inspired it, but then also too, a lot of people drew a lot of similarities to the Kitty Cabin murders.
All right. And I'm assuming that's also what the second one is kind of based off of.
The second one, I mean, it's kind of just continued more so. I don't
Right.
believe. So Wikipedia has this listed as psychological horror, which I can kind of understand. Just because of, it's kind of them stalking with them. It's not them just killing them.
They play with them before they kill them.
They fuck with them the whole time.
Yeah.
Which
I think that's what I liked most about the second one is the fact that they played with their prey a little too long, and the prey decided to start fighting back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also too, they kind of killed them way sooner, which I kind of like. She kind of like half-assed alluded to at the end of the first movie. Although it was 10 years later when she was like, when they got in the car and she was like, it'll be easier next time.
Yeah. So is the first movie effectively the first time that they killed people?
I don't know. That's what we don't find that out. It's alluded to that it could be that. It's alluded to that where it was like they weren't very good at that. They were just they weren't effectively like great killers. That's how that's kind of why.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions. Like, what are the relationships between the killers? Like, is it father and daughters, or like they don't explain.
It's assumed it's assumed it's a father, father, child, mother. You know what I mean? It's assumed it's mother, father, child, but that doesn't necessarily have to be true. Like we really don't know. You know what I mean?
See, I always thought the girl with the other, not the blonde, but the other girl, I always thought she was the youngest. Like I thought it was a father with two daughters.
I always thought they were all around the same age.
No, for sure that the guy is much older.
Yeah.
You never saw his face. How do you know? He's taller.
Well, he's
got old man walk. I know how you feel.
You saw the back of his head and stuff. He had like shaggy, like he had graying hair, and he had like the breathing issues, like somebody who had smoked for 40 years.
Maybe
he just had asthma.
Then he's in the wrong fucking business. If you have asthma, you shouldn't be trying to drag bodies around. I don't know. They don't ever specify any relationship and or age between them. We get to see the blonde girl's face in the second movie, so we know she's, young-ish.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you could see her in both movies. She was just in the shadows.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm led to believe. My mind led me to believe that the guy was on the older side. But. Okay, so going into, I mean, there's not much to say about the plot of the first movie. If you watch the trailer, you'll get the gist. It's a couple who are home alone. It started off with a woman who was just home alone, and then she called her ex-fiance, or not even ex-fiance, just someone her boyfriend, I guess, back to the house, and he came back, and then it was just them two home alone, and these three strangers, just pretty much mentally fucking with them all night, until the sunrise in the morning, and then they ended up killing him. Although Liv Tyler's character screamed at the very end, so I don't know if she died. She might have survived. She could have been brought to the hospital. Maybe the little Christian kids or the religious kids there handing out pamphlets about God. Maybe they had cell phones and called the cops, but who knows? If they were Mormons, I don't think they would have cell phones.
Yeah, that's the part that confused me, because at the beginning it sounds like a woman is calling 911, and like she's like, I don't know where we are, blah 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 blah. Like obviously that never happened.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, maybe it was the kids that called, but
because that's the thing, is it definitely sounded like a woman. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're led to believe that that's like the actual, like an actual phone call to 911 that was made, that this movie was inspired off of.
Maybe.
Not sure. But the second movie,
I mean,
pretty
there was
much the
also-
same.
I mean, there was also a mistake, like canonically in the thing, like 'cause at the end of the movie she's back in her nightgown. But I
No,
mean, you know,
See, that's the thing is, I feel like
you can
I feel like they fucked up,
Some people
like-
feel like they fucked up, or they filmed that part first and forgot that she changed, or
Well-
you could look at it as in like,
I feel like the
it-
killers changed her.
yeah, that too. Like, and people like that. That's been like a debated part of the movie. Was did they change her, or did they put her back in her nightie, or did they just fuck up?
Yeah.
Which is like, I guess, is not the worst thing ever, right? Like if you're gonna like inspire or invoke a conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
your fuck-ups are just invoking or pushing a narrative, which is fine. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's more creepy if they change her back into her nightgown.
Yeah, and see, that's what I thought they did. Like, I thought they were trying to, like, kill them and preserve them as, like, a couple, almost. You know what I mean? Like, some sort of, like, weird, twisted sense of, now you guys are together, fucking, but not here, kind of thing. I don't know.
Cool.
The second movie, it was much of the same. This time it was a family going on vacation to their uncle's house, but their uncle had already been killed by these guys. They didn't even go to their uncle's house. Like they ended up getting a different campsite or something.
Yeah, I think they were like, I think their uncle like owned it or whatever.
Yeah.
And was letting them stay there for vacation.
So they got a different campsite, but then one of them went to their uncle's house, and that's where they found their uncle. But again, much of the same. They fuck with the people for a while, but this one's much. I will say this movie was much more fast paced, like Devin said. Right off the bat, you get the girl knocking on the door like she did in the first one, asking for some person. She does it twice. Then she ends up in the house, and they're trying to call 911 or something on the cell phone, and she ends up chasing them into the bathroom where the mother helps the daughter out of a skylight or a high window. I think it was a skylight because it was it was in a camper or a trailer. And then as the daughter's trying to help the mother up, this girl kicks in the door, pretty much breaks through the door, and then just grabs the mother and slits her throat or stabs her a few times in the side, and then leaves her dead in the sink. I think my biggest problem, both movies, is the fact that when confronted, for the majority of the time, the people do not do anything offensive. It's like...
You can make that argument about a lot of horror movies.
Oh, I get that. I mean, I also don't watch a lot of horror movies. So
I get it. I mean, it's definitely like a trope of the horror genre for sure. It's like,
yeah,
the killer sees you and you just like freeze in fear.
And it's like, I get, like, and I'm surprised because, I'm glad that in the second movie, like halfway through, maybe even a little bit further through, they decide they're going to start fucking fighting back all of a sudden. Like, I don't know.
The kids did, for
Yeah,
sure.
the kids did. Like, the dad had a gun, didn't even fucking shoot it. When confronted the first time, I would have just fucking shot. No questions asked. Dude, he had already found his wife dead. Like, you don't question things at that point. You find your wife dead, and then all of a sudden somebody masked confronts you, and you have a gun pointed at them. Fire the gun.
Fuck them up.
You say whatever you have to do to make it right with you and whatever you believe in, but you pull that fucking trigger, and then you explain it to the cops after. What's that saying? Better to ask for forgiveness than for permission or some shit. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It just boggled my mind that there was no fight. Like, even with, like, the dad had crashed the van into one of the trailers and got impaled and was pretty much stuck there. The son ran off to go find the daughter, took the gun, and then the fucking dude killer came and just sat down next to him in the van, started playing with the radio and stuff. And I said to you guys as we were watching this, if you're in the van with this guy, you know you're gonna die. You're impaled, so you're probably thinking you're gonna die from that anyway. Just start swinging at this guy. Do something. Don't just give in to your fate of just, oh, I guess I'm dead now. Like, that's bullshit. Fuck this guy. Thumb him in the eye. Just try to fucking do anything that'll give your kids an advantage against this guy. Hey, I mean, that's an offensive tactic, man. If you can palm the side of his head and just jam your thumb into his eye, boom, blinded in one eye.
I don't like how you said it.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
There are no rules in this when your life is on the line. But, I don't know, the dad went out like a little bitch, and then the kids, took advantage.
He did kind of go like a little bitch.
Who, the dad?
Yeah, he did go like a little bitch.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, the mother, less so. I mean, I guess I still feel like the mother, knowing that the person kicked through the door.
I mean, she was behind you, but I mean, she was prioritizing her daughter. I mean, I get that.
Right, but I mean, at that time, she was also trying to get helped up by her daughter, but it's like, if she's entering the room, you do not have time to get up out of that fucking bathroom. Do something. Rip the towel rack off the wall and start beating her with the towel rack. Do anything. I don't know. But finally, the son at least killed one of them. The weird, creepy, not the blonde, but the other girl. The shorter one. Stabbed her like a bunch. He made sure she was dead. Then he wrestled with the guy in the pool and got stabbed in the spine a few times and left for dead. That was Bagman's fuck up. He didn't confirm kill. And then, yeah, I don't know. Rob brought up a point that I had brought up in the first one, although Rob justified it in the first one. So, I can't justify the second one. I don't know. But these people are always in the right place at the right time, and when they turn around to go look at them, they're always gone. Like, they move super fast, apparently.
They do. They absolutely do. But I mean, at the same time, that's also...
It's part of the psychological part. It's for the audience.
Very much a trope like, that was pretty much a trope for all horror movies up to, like, Scream. Scream is what actually kind of changed that, where you saw the killers, like, actively fucking up.
Right.
Because, well, they were dumbasses for the most part, so...
Yeah, but, like, even older movies, like, say, Halloween or whatever, like, Michael Myers would find people hiding in closets or whatever. He'd be like, oh, I know where you are. These people were already waiting in random places where people chose to hide, which is ridiculous. It's like, oh, I'm going to hide in this random pipe in the middle of the schoolyard. Oh, there's someone in the pipe already waiting for me. Oh, I'm going to pick this random house to hide in. Oh, there's someone already in the house.
My only justification for, like, the pipe scene is it might have been one of those pipes where it's like a T-pipe and there's, like, multiple ways in and out. And the girl could have been somewhere else on the playground and saw her run into that pipe and then came in a different part.
Or she could have easily been out there through the rocks and then saw them crash near the park and then saw them heading that way and then kind of went that way. Or not crash in the park, but she could have been throwing the rocks. And then we don't know how far apart everything really is.
Yeah. And there was not really a sense of timing. Like,
yeah, that's true too.
If all these things are all happening at the same time, or if there's like
over the course of the night,
right? So, but I don't know. Like, I do feel like they were always in the wrong place at the wrong time, except for the killers. They were always in the right place.
Absolutely. I'm not like disagreeing with Rob at all. I'm just saying like that. It is effectively a horror movie trope, and yeah, I mean it's a little cliched, which that was probably the biggest complaint about this movie was that the pace got picked up, but it ultimately felt cliched along the horror genre. Right. But I mean, it is what it is. It's hard to write a great slasher movie because I mean the premise of most slasher movies is just dude trying to, you know what I mean?
I mean, I definitely feel like they did it right with Michael Myers and Jason.
Well, I mean,
But I mean,
like, well, there's okay.
Again,
Halloween
they're supernatural though too. So.
No, even just that. I mean, like, you look at like the first Jason, the first Friday the 13th. Jason's not even the killer.
I mean, true.
First Friday the 13th. Jason's not the killer. It's a revenge slasher. Then you have after that. I mean, you could say they're all. I love all the Friday the 13th. I love all the Halloween movies, but like past like the first movie, there's not a lot of great movies. They're good. Hold on.
Okay.
I love all the movies. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that. Truth be told, you can't sit there and say like these movies are like supreme. Like there are a couple of gems in there.
No, I got
There's
you.
a couple of gems in there for sure. But
like, what about the kung fu rapper guy in one of
Busta
the
Rhymes?
Yeah,
that
Busta Rhymes.
Was awful. That's awful. Halloween H2O was awful.
Yeah, but you said you loved all the movies.
I love all the movies. Doesn't mean like I love that scene.
Wasn't he choked with like a phone cord or something?
Yes, he was.
Oh man.
I mean, I will say this: I haven't seen the newest one. Obviously not out yet, but the two most recent Halloween movies are gonna. Well, the one that came out most recently that's a pretty good slasher. It's a well written slasher that actually
the one that is the new.
Yeah, that started the new
Halloween 2.
Yeah, yep. Like, no, it's just called Halloween.
Yeah, I know, but it is. But it's supposed to take place after the events of the first Halloween movie.
Yeah. Just the new Halloween. And
I liked that movie. And like that's the thing. I don't know what it is with me. Like, I'm not a horror person. I don't like the feeling of being afraid or frightened, which is why I don't like horror movies. Like, just that sudden rush of, like, whatever, adrenaline or whatever it is, like, getting my heart racing, whatever. I don't like that feeling.
I do like that feeling. That's why I like horror.
Yeah, see, I hate that. But with movies like the Halloween movie, especially the remake, and even to an extent, like the Jason movies, Friday the 13th or whatever, I don't mind those movies. Like, those movies don't really I mean, it doesn't help that I root for the killers in those movies. But like things when you get into like Freddy Krueger movies, I can't handle. I'm not a fan. That's just the character in general. But when you get into movies like that are, I don't want to say supernatural because that's kind of what Jason is too. Like he's undead or some shit. I don't know. But like 13 Ghosts and even to the extent of like, I mean, the very end of the Blair Witch Project freaked me the fuck out. The very, very end of The Ring freaked me the fuck out. I watched both of those movies all the way through, thought the movies were dumb, and I actually laughed at a lot of it. Until the very, very ends. The endings just freaked me out. And, like, I can't ever go back and watch those movies. The Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think it is, and the little Japanese kid.
Oh, that's the sound I used to be able to do that my dog hated.
I can't.
Sound.
I won't watch that movie because that kind of horror freaks me out. Like, I will start mentally seeing things in my house that'll freak me out. I don't know. I'll hear things. I get in my own head about it.
The original Grudge is like actually really good.
I can't handle that kind of horror movies. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know why. Like, I can watch things like Halloween and not be scared. I don't know. I can't justify it. I don't know. Because they are horror movies. They're classic horror movies. But I don't know. I'm a fucking weirdo. What can I say? Now that we've talked a little bit about the second movie, though, Rob, what about the second movie did you like better than the first movie?
It's the whole fighting back thing. Like, through the first movie, nobody... Like, they went through the whole movie without a single injury of any kind to the killers.
Oh, Rob's clicking like a madman. I heard nothing but pretty much clicks through that.
You didn't hear what I said?
I heard mostly clicking.
I said because through the second one, there was the whole fighting back issue.
Oh, yeah.
Because through the first movie, the killers went through the entire thing without a single injury. Like, they didn't even get a fucking hangnail.
So I feel like you, much like fucking Wrong Turn, was it that we did last week? Is that the name of the movie? With the mountain people? I think it was Wrong Turn. So much like those movies, like these movies that don't necessarily interest you or aren't your cup of tea, you like them better when the fucking dumb killers get killed at the end?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Wrong Turn, the best moments of that was the very ending credit scene.
Yeah. So the second one, at first I was like, oh god, because it had more of the stupid, hey, we're here where we shouldn't feasibly be here. But it then was better because I felt they were fighting back at the end and not just taking it. Yeah. So that's why I like that one better.
Oh, that guy driving a truck on fire. That cab would have been on fire too. Like, quick. So,
yeah.
And I mean, he obviously was on fire at some point because his mask was melted to his face.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, a regular human would not be able to sit in a burning truck and just sit there and drive it around. Like, that would be so fucking painful.
Yeah, especially not quietly. But, I don't know. Maybe he was a mute.
Maybe. I don't think he ever spoke, so it's possible.
Yeah, all you heard was, like, really raspy breathing, like he was having a hard time breathing when he was walking around. But, yeah, the other two definitely spoke. Which death do you think was the best for the killers?
I mean, it's got to be the last one. Yeah, because I mean, that one was the most interesting. With like first him being set on fire, and then the whole chase with the truck, and then the baseball bat to the head. Like the other ones are just like, okay, now I hit you, and you're basically dying, and then I finish you off, kind of thing. I mean, they were okay, but
see, I don't know.
The pool fight was pretty cool, but the killers didn't die there.
Right. Well, the girl did, but she died next to the pool.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Like, I feel like, to me, my favorite death was the blonde girl. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I feel like internally she had it coming more than the other ones, or I mean, they all had it coming, obviously, but, like, just, like, her being, like, slashing at this girl, cutting her hands, cutting her legs, cutting her, whatever, gets kicked out of this police jeep, and then shot with a shotgun and blown halfway across the street. And the girl did the smartest thing in any horror movie. She double tapped. She fucking shot that blonde chick again just to make sure she stayed down.
Yeah, that was another issue I had too. Like, they kept removing the masks. It's like, you don't know these people. There's no point in removing the masks. Like, the brother almost got killed because he tried to remove the black-haired girl's mask.
At the same time, I can't say that, like, if a masked individual broke into my home and I managed to fight them off and mortally wound them and or kill them, I would make sure they were dead first. I would be curious about what's under the mask. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
I guess, but I would wait until for sure all danger was past, because it's like, I don't... Like, what they look... It's like, oh, I'm curious as to what you look like. Like, revealing their face doesn't really help you in any way.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't do any good unless you knew the person.
And they never actually revealed the first girl's face, right? You only ever get to see the blonde girl's face?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's that. Devin, which one of the two... You said you liked the second one better because of the pacing?
Yeah.
I do definitely agree. I feel like there was no lull. Like, the whole beginning of the first movie was just slow, and I get they were building some story or whatever, but this one definitely started off with, like, okay, you know what the movie is about if you're watching this one, So they definitely jumped straight into pretty much having the strangers there and present. Obviously, well, unless they technically could. Are there any plans to have another Strangers movie with different killers?
I mean, to be fair, it took 10 years to get this sequel. I don't
That's
know.
true. That's fair enough. Also, Googling, trying to find strangers on different websites, there are a lot of movies called Strangers and or The Strangers or The Stranger. Just saying. Like, there's a lot of them. All right.
Stranger Things.
That also did come up on the list. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say about these two movies. Definitely like the second one more than the first one. The first one just was boring me. It didn't keep my attention. I still feel like I like Hush more than the second one even. Hush is just another, for those of you who don't know, it's another home invasion movie where somebody finds a deaf woman home alone and kind of messes with her. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to say about this movie? I thought we'd get more, seeing as though we watched two of them, but
Yeah. I mean,
they're very. I think that's the issue, is the fact that they're very straightforward movies. Like, literally, if you watch the trailer, you know what the movie's about. So
yeah, like I liked Hush better too, mostly because, again, she fights back a lot. Like, she takes his own arrow and shoots him with it and stuff.
Yeah, well, I think part of the reason I like Hush more too is not only does she fight back, but you get it from a different perspective, because this is like a deaf woman who can't hear where this guy is.
Yeah.
So, you get to see, like, her fire alarm is set up to do different things so she knows if there's a fire, which can be jarring to, like, the killer, because it sets off, like, this supersonic loud ringing that sends out vibrations on, like, the countertops, and it flashes like a strobe light, but, I mean, yeah, just having this woman who can't hear, so you're taking away one of the sensory perceptions, having to fight back against somebody who is, messing with her and ultimately trying to kill her. I think that gave the movie a different type of dynamic as well that made it more interesting to me. So yeah, I'm thinking, unless you guys object to it, I will tell the listeners right now, I'm thinking we're going to do next week's SU. It's going to be another movie, but it's going to be called The Green Knight, I believe it's called. It's supposed to be what is that one classified as, Devin? I know it's supposed to be kind of creepy. Like they said, it's
actually a horror movie, I think. Yeah, but from my understanding, it's not.
But it is a take on a different take.
Sorry, no, they changed it. It's an adventure drama fantasy.
Okay. Well, I know it originally came out as like having horror-esque tendencies to it, but it is another take on the Arthurian legend. For those of you who know the King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, the Green Knight was one of his knights. I believe it was his nephew. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. SU on next week. So if you guys want to pre-watch the movie, maybe that'll be a good idea. So then you don't have to like start the podcast and be like, "Oh, I haven't seen this movie yet," and then pause the podcast and forget to come back and re-listen to it once you've watched the movie.
You jerks.
Yeah, jerks.
I mean, people might also be listening for our opinions to know whether they should watch it or not. So,
I mean, that's true too.
When have we ever told them not to watch a movie? I think I said don't watch Life After Beth. I did say that.
So wrong. I 100% have told people not to watch Old Boy. Old Boy is
I think
garbage film.
I think you're wrong for that one, but I will say if you're gonna watch Old Boy, you should watch the original Korean version of Old Boy.
No, that's the one that I watched. That one's garbage.
That's the much better one.
That's the garbo. That's
No, you just like subtitles.
no, it's not even that. I just did not like that movie. I thought the premise was stupid. The only good part about Old Boy was the hallway fight scene that you can watch the entire fight scene on YouTube in one video. There you go. Boom. The rest of it's fucking stupid. And if you know what, I'll fight you on it. If you want to watch Old Boy, fine, go out there and watch Old Boy, but watch Life After Beth then too.
I mean, you don't have to watch either. Old Boy is a very specific type of movie. But
So isn't Life After Beth? I feel
Life After Beth is just trash.
Listen, it's not bad. Little
bad.
what is it? Little Dreams or little
Hours is arguably worse.
Little Hours is
Arguably
way
worse.
better. It's fucking great.
No, fucking awful.
You know, Little Hours is really good. You just have to have a very specific type of sense of humor.
And I had that type of humor. It's just dog shit.
It is not dog shit.
A dog shit movie.
Yeah, well, so wasn't the Elevator movie.
I mean, I'm not going to dispute that. That movie was a very, that's a movie that's a very specific type of movie. I'm not going to dispute that movie may not have been like dog poo poo.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, that's the plan. Next week we're going to be reviewing and talking about The Green Knight. I've been looking forward to watching this movie for a little while now since I watched the trailer for it, maybe about a month ago or so.
After that, can I request we do a non-movie SU because it's been a long time?
You sure can. You know what? If you want to do that, if you want to come up with a topic or something, we'll do that as next week's SU, and then we'll kind of skip it around.
We've been kind of dragging the barrel for topics, so the movies are always easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean one of those topics was a referral from Dave, so we did that as a listener referral. I mean, do you have a topic in mind?
No.
Oh, you're just tired of movies?
Well, I mean, we've done a lot of movie ones, so I wanted to do something else, but
right.
don't have an idea yet. But I got 2 weeks to come up with one. So,
yeah.
If any listeners have anything that's non-movie that you wanted just to talk about, let us know.
Yeah, as always, if you guys want to reach out and just shoot suggestions at us, I know there's technically one non-movie topic that we have already said that we would do, and we have yet to do. And for that, Kat, I apologize. It's not that I haven't forgotten; it's that I've held off and hoped that Devin would forget, and that you would that you would forget that we said we would do it.
Is it MS Paint? Are we doing MS Paint?
No, she would hate us forever if we did an SU on MS Paint. Just the history of MS Paint. No, me and Devin had told her one time that we would do a K-pop and history of K-pop episode.
I mean, that's fine, but like I don't know that much about K-pop.
I don't either.
I don't know how we're gonna get an hour.
We would all have to sit there and actually do a little bit of research because I know nothing about K-pop.
I mean, now if we're talking like I mean, all right, that's fine.
The only thing I know currently about K-pop is that they had skins. One of their things had skins on PUBG.
I was gonna say, if you don't reference PUBG, this just got really weird. Because you're just like, all I know about K-pop is they have skin. They have skins. It's like, yeah, most people have skins.
That was a very awkwardly weird statement. Throw that out there.
Perhaps next time you should preface the only thing I know about K-pop is in PUBG, the video game.
I was getting there.
Yeah.
It's a really long time.
You said it in a really fucked up way, that's all.
What I know about K-pop is they have skins.
They have skins. In PUBG.
Take skins.
I mean, I know Avalos might know some about K-pop. He seems pretty jazzed about K-pop.
Now, if we're talking
PUBG.
like now, we were gonna do like a city pop
I don't know
episode.
what that is.
I'm in for city pop.
What
That is
are all these
that is a
pops?
wave of music that came through Japan in like the 80s and early 90s, and I'm here for it. But other than that, or like you want to do an episode on vaporwave?
What the fuck is vaporwave? What are all these dumbass music genres?
It is another genre of music that is just it vaporwave is strange.
You know what K-pop is? It's just pop music, but it started over with Korean people, so they call it K-pop.
That's actually true. There's J-pop, there's K-pop,
and it's all just pop music.
Yeah.
The only K-pop song I've ever heard was the one the parody they did on Family Guy.
I'm sure you've heard. If you listen to any time of radio last summer at all, you've heard "Dynamite" by BTW, which is K-pop technically.
Listen to the radio.
I
I don't have a car.
I don't understand anything. I don't know what all these different pops are. I thought there was just pop music. You know, like with pop stars, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, there is kind of just pop music. It just really depends.
There's rock, pop, country, jazz, R&B.
Yeah, vaporwave's a very specific type of music. I do like vaporwave though.
The fuck is vaporwave?
Like, but it's like trancey 80s synth. It's weird, but
all right. Is it like what they have at the beginning of like the Thor Ragnarok movie, like that kind of music? Like you'd almost hear it in like a video game or something.
A little bit.
I wouldn't mind that. Where they play the guitars. Remember those?
Yeah. Just YouTube some vaporwave at some point.
I don't know if I will.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm just throwing it out there.
All right. Well, listeners, all right. Plan for the Green Knight next week. And then we need some suggestions for topics. Anything that you guys are interested in. If we don't know it, we'll do a little bit of homework and research about it. Or you can listen to us stumble for an hour about what we think it might be. Hell, that might be a topic all on our own. You guys just throw ideas at you. You guys throw shit at me, and I just tell you what I think it is. And then you tell me how absolutely fucking wrong I am and educate me. Let's just say it. Let's just admit it here. I'm the dumbest one on the show. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm the least educated /
Why would you say that?
because I can't even think of the other word I was thinking of.
I mean, I don't think you're dumb for not knowing what vaporwave is. I have no idea.
Nobody knows what vaporwave is.
You know what vaporwave is.
It's niche as fuck, though.
Devin is the smartest person on SU.
I mean, that may be true, but...
He also showed me a picture of a beer that he poured earlier, so Devin is the smartest man in the world. The most sophisticated man on the planet.
This is true.
Okay, one final question about the Stranger movies. And we're combining both of them. I'm going to start with Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Would you prefer, or which ones do you like better? The Strangers, both, or Willy's Wonderland?
Willy's Wonderland, hands down.
Devin, what about you?
Willy's Wonderland. I mean, to be fair, I wanted to do Mandy this week, but you were not having Mandy.
If you want to do Mandy, you and Rob can watch that. I will dip out of that. I don't feel like I'm going to have a good time watching that movie.
I just feel like Mandy is a movie that will embody an SU episode, if that makes sense. Like, there will be a lot to talk about on that one episode.
I mean, all right.
I will say that. Like, you don't...
It is a horror movie? Yes.
It's a Nick Cage movie.
That doesn't mean it. It's a horror movie.
Okay. No. It's listed, I'll be honest with you. It's listed as a horror movie. I will be completely honest with you. It is a horror movie akin to a very bad acid trip.
Yeah, I know. I've watched... You had me watch the trailer.
The trailer. I'll tell you what. I mean, we can watch... Give me like 25 minutes of it. If you don't like it, 25 minutes, you say, hey, I'm done. We can turn it off, keep it moving. No harm, no foul.
All right.
Fair?
It won't be next week or the week after because we
that's fine.
we would give it a break.
I'm just saying.
We will watch Mandy, and even if I fucking check out mentally and start having a coma in my chair, and Rob will not hear me having a coma or going into a coma or having a seizure or whatever.
I mean,
I could be killed. I could be
That's
killed
the
by.
main trope.
I could be killed by an axe murderer right now, and Rob would not know.
I mean, if Matilda started barking,
He's
I'd yell
15
at
feet
her.
away from me. He would not be able to tell. We'll do Mandy. Worst case scenario, we'll do the episode on it, and you guys will have to be the ones talking about it because it just does not look appealing. I'd rather wipe my ass with sandpaper.
You can also do Color Out of Space if you don't want to do that one,
Which is based on it.
Which is based on a H.P. Lovecraft story. Color Out of Space. It's also a Call of Cthulhu.
Are we going to do one on Zardoz too?
We can.
No. I've already seen Zardoz once. I refuse to watch it again.
You also do the one in the Void, which that was an interesting movie I watched. That movie was interesting. I don't know if it was good. I don't know how I feel about that movie. It wasn't bad, but I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know. I think part of the thing that I didn't like about the Mandy trailer is just everything seems dark and red all the time.
That is the movie. I will be completely honest with you.
And I don't like that.
The movie is very dark like that. I will be completely honest with you.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what's turning me off here.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just going to be dark, red, and just gory. And I don't like gore movies. I tried. I'm not gonna. Okay, here I'm gonna open up to the. I'm gonna open up to the audience for a second here. I watched the movie Hostel, Hostel, right, where they go into like the sex hotels there over in like Sweden or Denmark or wherever the fuck they were. And I got to the point where the guy took a drill through the guy's leg who was strapped to the chair, whatever. I got to the point where he cut the guy's Achilles tendon and then untied him, said he was free to go, and just left the room. The guy stood up, and it showed the Achilles tendon separating. I had to shut the movie off. I refused to watch it. Overt gore is nonsensical and dumb to me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Mandy is a hard movie to explain. That's why I got to be like, I just need you to watch it, and if you don't like it, we can stop watching.
I will promise you a half hour minimum of my time to this movie.
Okay.
Okay, which is 5 minutes more than what you wanted.
It is a bloody movie, but like, what's the best way to describe this movie? Okay, if a horror movie, if John Wick was like a bad acid trip against like Satan spawn nightmarish cult, he was trying to get revenge against Satan spawn nightmarish cults, and in the most metal way possible. That's Mandy. Like, it's a hard movie to describe.
Like Hellraiser meets Mad Max.
It's kind of like Mad Max meets I would say the movie is very similar to like Hellraiser meets Mad Max meets, but you've never seen Hellraiser, but Hellraiser meets Mad Max meets fucking John Wick. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. It's like,
you will have 30 minutes of my time with that movie minimum. If I watch the whole thing, I'll be surprised. But I might suffer through the whole thing just so we can do the SU on it. Because I wouldn't want to watch the movie and then not do the SU on it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, 30 minutes, and you can shelf it.
Well, I mean, hey, you suffered through Life After Beth. I'll suffer through this. It's fine. I mean, I don't know. I might very well like this movie. I like most Nick Cage movies. I can't really think of one that I don't like. But looking at after watching the trailer, I feel like this is going to be the one. Like, it's going to be hard for me to stomach because just visually it's unappealing. if
it's not all red all the time. It's not all red all the time. It's just he if I'm not mistaken, his name is Red. If I'm not mistaken, it's you get like when you get the flashback scenes or things like that, there's that red filter over it. But it's not red all the time.
All right. Well, again, listeners, we need topics, topic ideas, topic suggestions. If you preferably for Rob's sake, possibly a couple, non-movie ones in there. If you have a specific,
I mean, we can always go back to rating D&D classes.
I mean, that's true. I mean, yeah, we still have to do those. I'm not gonna those are ones that we would use for filler. But yeah, just give us some topics. If there's some games or whatever that you've heard on other podcasts, or you've seen that you feel like would make a decent game for us and maybe a couple other people to play on a podcast, send us the game. Send us the rules or a link of where we can listen to an example of it. We'll play a couple rounds or whatever. I'm not talking like board games. I'm talking like word games and stuff like that. But, yeah, I don't know. I have nothing else to say. I'm struggling for where I'm not doing well right now.
I mean, how far are we into the episode?
No, we're right at that hour mark. We're at 57 minutes. But
there you go.
Yeah. My eyes are watering. I'm not comfortable. So yeah, with that being said, that's our game plan. Green Knight next week. Something else to be determined week after. Rob, do we have a science corner this week?
We do. I have learned about Mars this week. So with the rovers and stuff, they've been testing different things about Mars. Basically, Mars has no electromagnetic sphere like Earth does. So there's no protection from radiation. So in order to colonize Mars, it would be difficult because you'd have to be inside all the time or you'd be exposed to deadly radiation constantly. But they have discovered that the caves systems on Mars protect very well against the radiation. So basically we could live in the caves on Mars. We'd have to live underground, but it's possible. Then they're like, it's a big step closer to be able to have actual colonies on a different planet.
So living in a cave system versus living just in a structure.
Yeah, but the cave system would be better in case like there was a failure or something, because like if the domes or whatever on the surface ever failed, you would basically die pretty quickly. But whereas if you had caves, it would be you'd be able to more like walk around underground, and if there were damages, it would be not so quite as deadly as if it had happened above.
But they would have to put like airlock systems and stuff at the entrances to the caves.
At the cave entrances, yeah. But you could have like multiple, whereas like with a tent or a dome, like if a wall or something gets damaged, you're screwed.
Right. I mean, have they had any type of like the robot up there go into any of the caves?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's where the Martians live.
How they know.
That's where the aliens live, in the caves.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're one step further in our knowledge of colonizing another planet, I guess.
Yeah.
Are there cave systems on the moon?
Yeah.
Could we do the same thing on the moon?
I don't know.
There's no water in the moon, I don't think. There's
Some kind of difference with the moon, I think.
Oh.
Hmm.
All right.
I'm not entirely sure what it was, though.
Alrighty. Devin, do we have life advice with Devin this week?
We do have a life advice with Devin this week. All right. Life advice with Devin this week is me giving you guys 10 things to do if you ever find yourself in a horror movie situation and how to survive. I may have talked about these before, but I'm going to talk about them again because they're important. So if you ever find yourself in a horror movie situation, don't ever investigate or say you'll be right back. Just get the fuck out. Don't worry about it. Somebody's like, yo, you come in this door, I'm going to kill you. Don't be like, you know what we got to do? We need to investigate behind that door. No, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Rule number 2, turn around. If you're ever in like a situation and like you feel like you feel the tension, just turn around. It's always behind you. Pretty much always.
Strangers, then when you turn around, they're just gone.
Yeah.
There was a horror movie like that. Oh no, that was PT, the horror game, or the playable teaser, which never became a game, which is unfortunate. Which was supposed to be the next Silent Hill game, but anyway, where the somebody hacked the camera in the game, and they figured out from the very beginning of like the teaser, the ghost is always behind you, and when you turn your camera, she turns around you as well. So you never see her unless she wants you to see her. But if they hack the camera into a third-person camera, and she's always behind you.
Oh, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah. 3, never watch a horror movie when you're in one. So if you ever find yourself in what you may be a horror movie situation, don't turn on a horror movie. It's probably not a good idea. It's not a good time to do your research. You should have been listening to this podcast and had your research already done, dummy.
Boom.
Number 4, make sure your car is always in perfect working order. That's just good life advice in general.
True.
You know, don't put up that oil change for 8 months, and then you get in the car and you try to run away, and then your fucking engine timing's fucked up, and now you're fucked because there's a guy in a souped-up Ford, like a 1960s Ford steel body, that's gonna just keep ramming into you, and you're fucked because your car's made of fiberglass, and your fucking Honda Civic from your mom's old 2012 Honda Civic that you haven't put work in since she gave it to you in 2016, it ain't gonna keep up. Nothing against Honda Civics. I like Honda Civics. Don't ever split up. Like, there's really never a reason to split up in a horror movie or in any kind of like dangerous life situation. Like, oh shit, there's a killer in here. Let's split up. Or we can cover more ground. We can cover less ground together safely. Don't split up. 6.
Rob, there might be a killer outside. I'll be right back. I'm going into town for some milk.
Well, either Webby's going to die first on the way to get milk, and then Rob's going to die, or Webby's going to come back and find Rob dead.
Oh,
and
no,
then
Webby ain't never coming back. He's going to be that delinquent dad who goes out for a gallon of milk and just never comes home.
I could see that being like a Bruce Campbell line in a movie, like he left to go get milk, comes home, or like he like walked out to get cigarettes like 10 years ago, like the daughter's about to get killed, he busted the door down with a shotgun, Daddy's home, and he got the cigarettes, and it's like he shoots him. Like that's such a Bruce Campbell line.
I can see that. That's a good way for yourself to escape. They'll be like, I'm going to the store. I'll be right back. And the girl's like, oh, I'll kill the person in the house, and then I'll kill that one when they come back. And then you just never come
back.
Looking in the rearview mirror, he like sees the killer outside. Sucker.
The cops finally kick in the door, and the killer's just sitting on the couch waiting. Like, well, this is awkward.
Like, hey, what are you guys doing here? Who called you? Like, the owner called us, but. That's not fair. He's not playing by the rules.
Yeah, he said he'd be right back. He tricked me.
Oh.
All right.
And, by the way, when the house was haunted, just move out of the damn house. Like, why? Just move out. Like, but we just spent our life's fortune. Do you want to be dead and poor? I mean, you can have a house note and be dead, or you can be poor and alive. Which one do you want? I mean, to be fair, being poor and alive is kind of like being dead in a different way, but, you know, it is what it is. Number 7, always have comfortable shoes. Comfortable shoes, people.
Yep.
Number 8, avoid proms and all high school parties or any area high schoolers hang out, because usually they're the first ones to die. Number 9, always assume your attacker is still alive. This is true. And number 10, keep your pants on. Keep it in your pants, people. So it's a high-stakes horror situation, not a time to be confessing your love to your crush that you should have confessed to 20 years ago. Even if she likes you back, it's not the time or the place. True. But anyway, that's my life advice. Survive live so you can keep listening to SU. I know listening to SU is kind of like a horror movie within itself.
Yep,
It's,
sometimes.
It's a traumatic event that you just kind of have to like force yourself through, and that's okay. Because I'm here for you.
We're all here for you. And
Unfortunately.
With that being said, Rob, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Confessor_X and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Confessor.
And Devin, where can people find you? Because you're there for them.
You guys can find me on Twitter at DMP_Pookie and on Twitch at Mr. D3. And as always, you can find me on eBay in the Circle of Friendship.
Okay. You guys can follow me on Twitter at JaxForestWalker, all one word, on Twitch at DMWebby, and on eBay at In the Circle of Life.
You don't want to be in the Circle of Friendship? I see how it is.
No, I'm the bigger circle that encompasses you in a nice warm hug.
Okay. I'm with this.
Okay.
I think it's bullshit, but I'm still with it.
I think it's bullshit too. If there was a circle of life, he'd be sitting there kicking everybody inside the circle. Life always kicks everybody, especially when they're down already. All right, everybody. We love you. Be safe. And as always, fuck Booster Gold.
Fuck Booster Gold.
You know, me and Rob finished watching Smallville, and there was a Booster Gold episode. And the second it came on, I was like, I forgot this was the thing. And I hate him so much. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Da 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 da